Never forget, I was in middle school, I was in the seventh grade, and I remember being in art class. And in art class, the first day of art class wasn't like your normal art class where they give you the materials and they explain the class. It was more or less of a study hall. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, went to Irvington Public Schools, and in this particular school, it was a little wild. It was known as a wild school. So it that's just basically what it was. But I remember it was one kid in particular. I looked at him. He had a mustache and he was muscular. Now, I used to work out, but I wasn't muscular as a seventh grader. I looked like I was fit. I looked like I did something, but not to his degree. So I asked him. We started having conversation, and he was able to tell us what was happening during the class before it happened. And so we're like, how did you know about that? Come to find out, this kid is 17 years old in the seventh grade. 17. And I remember I felt bad for him. I'm like, wow, so that means that you're 5 years older than us, which is why you have a mustache. I couldn't grow anything underneath my nose. And he was just explaining his experience. And I was like, wow, that is really something to have to endure. You've seen 4 or 5 different classes go before you, and you feel like you've been left behind. And I don't know if anyone's ever felt that way, where you feel like people are progressing in life, people are continually moving forward, but you're still in the same spot. You feel like you've been left back. You stayed back. When people used to stay back or not progress to the next grade in school, people used to ridicule them. People would ridicule them. People would make fun of them. People would say, something wrong with you. You must be crazy. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever been stuck in a cycle? Can I tell you that there's a way for you to get out of that cycle? And before you can get out of it, you have to recognize that you're in it. If you continually see the same thing over and over again, just like that kid saw it, classes after class after class, over and over again, he's able to tell us what's happening because he's been through it. While you're stuck in your cycle, you can actually be helping the people that are going through the same thing that you're going through. Now, the only difference is in order for you to progress to the next class, you have to be able to pass the tests. There's a series of tests that always happens in school or in any type of education environment to prove your proficiency. What test have you not passed that is causing you to be left behind? There's an answer to that question, only you can answer that. The Lord tests, we test people, we test spirits. The Bible talks about testing the spirits. But the Lord is showing us the way for us to be able to get through these tests in our lives. But the question is, are we listening to Him? Are we able to hear Him? Are we coming up with our own solution, which is causing for us to be left back? But the opportunity for you today is to not be left back. Look at what you're supposed to be learning and ask, Lord, what am I supposed to be learning? If you don't know what it is, just ask Him. He is here and available to answer your questions. What am I supposed to be learning in this part of my life? So I don't repeat it again. So I don't repeat the same cycle. So I don't continue to stay in these toxic relationships. So I don't continue to fail at something I should be winning at. So I can pivot and find my purpose. These are things that we need to examine, because if not, we'll see the new people, but we'll be in the same place. We'll still be left back. And as people are moving forward, we'll be in the same place wondering what is happening. And the issue with us being in the same place is we're not going to be in the position that God wants us to be in order for Him to bless us and move us forward and allow us to be an impact through what He's doing in our lives. Do you want to be responsible for that?